Welcome to Mobility Wednesday. Today we are going to start with our shins underneath our hips, and we're going to push back into a traditional child's pose position. You're going to really think about stacking your shoulders down and back into your hip bones, engaging your core, and stretching out the front of your shins as you inhale and exhale. You're going to walk your hands forward and then push them back, stack the shoulders. Inhale, we are going to creep those hands forward again. And we're going to walk the hands over to the right side of the body. Go ahead and try and let your hands meet, making sure your thumbs and your pointers are in a line, and breathe through that side body. Walking back to the center here, we're going to walk to the left side now. Line up the hands. Make sure that you inhale and exhale here. We're going to shoot for 3 breaths on each side. Coming back to the center. Thinking about setting an intention for this practice and this mobility session. Whether that be trying to work on control, whether that be thinking about keeping your shoulders away from your ears, or just letting go and allowing yourself this opportunity to take care of yourself and stretch. We're going to bring those hands to the low back here and think about bringing your elbows together behind you as you lean back into a supported little mini back bend. If you are more flexible or you have greater mobility here, feel free to reach back for those ankles or the back of your feet for a more intense back bend. I'm just focusing on bringing my hips forward in that position. I know that tight hip flexors is something a lot of us struggle with, so that's a great exercise to use that. We're going to move into our cat-cow series now. So we're going to inhale, let the belly relax, let everything go. Exhale, draw the core up and in, thinking about bringing your hip bones together as you push the ground away from you. As you exhale everything out. And inhale, drop the belly, deep breath in. Tuck the toes behind you, and we're going to move into our first downward dog of this practice. Breathing here, checking in with your hands and your wrists. Something to think about is pressing down into where your fingers and your palm meet. Thinking about not just pressing into the back of your hand, but also into the front and into your fingers. Distributing that weight and coming into your first plank. We're going to stack the shoulders, engage the lower core. Inhaling and exhaling. Finding stability as we lower down to the ground. Inhale, chest comes up into your first up dog of this practice. Deep breath in here, tuck the toes behind you, exhale into downward facing dog. Coming into a plank position here, inhaling and exhaling for 3 breaths. As you inhale, you're going to lower down, exhale, lift that chest. Take an inhale here and an exhale. Exhale into downward facing dog. We're going to move into our first pigeon pose of this series. We're going to stay in a upright pigeon pose. So we're not going to fold down onto that front leg just yet. I want you to think about untucking that back leg, straightening out that back foot, and then folding forward onto that front leg. We're going to hang here, connecting to our breath as we inhale and exhale. Checking in with yourself again and checking in with your intention. Has it changed? Are you in alignment with what you wanted for yourself in this time? Are you being mindful of your breath? Breathing in and out. We're going to come back into upright pigeon pose here, and we're going to take our hands out in front of us, and we're going to move into a little breath series here. So we're going to inhale, lower down, exhale, push away. Inhale, lower, exhale, push the ground away. Inhale, lower down, exhale, push back and away, and back into downward facing dog. Walk out your dog here, pedaling out the feet, inhaling and exhaling, shaking out that work you just did, coming into that plank position. Thinking about, again, creating space between your ears and your shoulders, lowering down as you inhale into upward facing dog and exhale, downward facing dog. Pedaling out those feet again. Inhaling, the left leg is going to come forward into that pigeon position now. And we're going to hang here in this upright spot. Lowering down onto the ground here, breathing in and out. The more space you can create in these positions where we're folded over, the more advanced you can become in these practices. The point is to try and sync up the breath and connect with yourself and give your body that permission to take up more room, to expand, and to really find this time to give yourself the opportunity to release stress and tension through stressing the muscles and allowing them to relax into these stretching positions. Inhaling and exhaling here. And coming up into those pigeon push-ups. So we inhale, lower, exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower down, exhale, chest comes up. And coming back to those forearms, reaching back, straightening out that back leg and sending that foot back to downward facing dog, where we're going to pedal out our feet again. checking in with yourself as you have reached the halfway point of this practice. We're going to come into a plank position, lowering down into chaturanga, cobra, downward facing dog, pedaling out the feet, coming into plank, holding here for 3 breaths. And pushing back into downward facing dog. Stepping the right leg forward into low runner's lunge here. We're going to hold into that low lunge and draw our rainbows. So inside arm sweeps up and behind you as you add the spinal rotation in here. I like to think about drawing a big rainbow up and out as I release that energy. I'm going to walk my foot in between my hands. My hands are going to frame my foot, and I'm going to push back, straighten out that front leg as much as I can into that really nice hamstring stretch. Coming into that lunge again, I'm going to come down into my first lizard of this practice. So really sinking into this stretch, moving into a lunge, finding stability, arms come up and overhead, thinking about straightening out my arms, setting my shoulders down and back, opening up into warrior, extended side angle, stretching that left arm up, right hand comes in to stabilize. You can tuck that left arm behind you, reach that right arm underneath, grab and go into a bind here if it's available to you. If you just want to stay with that arm behind you, that's okay. You can just do extended triangle. Now we're going to go into peaceful warrior, rotate back, downward facing dog, into 3-legged dog, opening up into that right hip. Resetting back into downward facing dog here, pedaling out the feet. We're going to do that same sequence again, lowering down chaturanga, into cobra, into downward facing dog, pedaling out those feet, into that plank position here. Thinking about stacking those shoulders. I'm also thinking about bringing my hip bones together. So I'm thinking about doing that as I step that left leg forward into that low runner's lunge. And we're going to draw those rainbows on the opposite side. So inside arm is going to sweep up and do a half circle here. Inhaling and exhaling, we're going to do 5 rotations total. Breathe. And frame that foot. Sit back onto that front leg. Front leg is straight. Coming forward into that lunge, we're going to lift up that back leg, find stability as we draw that foot in. Oh no, sorry, we're going into a lizard position. So coming down low onto that opposite side, thinking about trying to untuck that back toe. There we go, straightening out that leg. Breathing here. 3 breaths, coming back up, framing that front foot again, straightening out that back leg, and getting ready to come into crescent lunge here. Arms come up and overhead, opening up into warrior, side angle, and you can go for that bind again if it's available to you, or just reach back behind you. Any kind of spinal twist in this is good. Untuck if you did, and come into that reverse warrior. Rotate down and around, cartwheel the hands down, push back, 3-legged dog, opening up to the opposite side, pedaling out the feet. Next, we're going to walk the hands to meet the feet and hinging down into that low sumo squat here. Thinking about stacking the hips here. I'm even rounding a little bit too much through that lower back, so you really want to try and create a straight line in your lower back and your chest. Walking the feet closer together here. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair position. Thinking about trying to, again, pull those shoulders down and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chair position. Breathing here for 3 breaths. And inhale, lift up, extend those arms down and back. Exhale, forward fold, clasp the hands behind you. Inhale, as you try and pull your elbows together, opening up that chest, sinking into that hamstring stretch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chair position. Again, thinking about trying to straighten out those arms. Inhale, stand up, mountain position, swan dive forward, exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, clasp the hands behind you again. Draw those elbows back and away. Inhaling and exhaling here. Inhale and exhale into chair position. Sweep those arms up. Inhale. Mini back bend here. As you open up the chest, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hop the feet back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the chest. Big inhale here. Exhale, push back into child's pose. Ending the same way that we started this practice, inhaling and exhaling, checking in with your body, walking the hands forward. I want to thank you for showing up today and giving me this opportunity to stretch with you.